State of New California, notice to all Californians, grievance number 56. It is February 19, 2019. We are in Vista, California at the county courthouse. New California is a new state in development exercising its constitutional right to form from the state of California. The process to form New California is authorized and codified in Article 4, Sections 3 and 4 of the United States Constitution. Statement of intent. Citizens of New California have decided to remedy the abuse of power by the government of California by exercising their right to form a new state provided in the United States Constitution, Article 4, Sections 3 and 4. We are determined to live under a state government in the United States of America and under the Constitution of the United States. New California Declaration of Independence of January 15, 2018 states, whenever any form of government becomes destructive, it is the right of the people to abolish it or alter it, and to institute new government. When a long train of abuses and acts to seize and hold the people's power without legal authority and pursuing invariably the same object that clearly demonstrates a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Preamble of the New California State Constitution states, we, the representatives of the undersigned counties within the state of California, do acknowledge and humbly invoke the favor of Almighty God for the continued civil and religious liberty to ourselves and our posterity. First Amendment of the United States Constitution states, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. The counties of New California bring forward 95 grievances to be announced in public on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. State of New California Grievance number 56. Declaration of Grievance, Statement of Facts. The people of California are suffering from a tyrannical state government which fails to provide a Republican form of governance, enables and supports across its southern border the invasion of the United States of America by illegal foreign nationals, and protects vicious criminals who commit outrageous acts of violence upon the citizens of America, all caused by a government of and for a monoparty system led by a tyrannical dictator who openly defies federal law. California state government is in direct violation of the following. United States Constitution, Article 4, Section 4. The United States shall guarantee to every state in the Union a Republican form of government and shall protect each of them against invasion and on application of the legislature or of the executive when the legislature cannot be convened against domestic violence. United States Constitution, Article 6, Section 2. This Constitution and the laws of the United States which shall be made in pursuance thereof and all treaties made or which shall be made under the authority of the United States shall be the supreme law of the land, and the judges in every state shall be bound thereby, anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary notwithstanding. New California State Joint Resolution number 19-03. Resolution of Declaration of the New California State, Article 4, Section 4, Freedom from Domestic Violence. Whereas the people of California are suffering from a tyrannical state government which fails to provide a Republican form of governance, enables and supports across its southern border the invasion of the United States of America by illegal foreign nationals, and protects vicious criminals who commit outrageous acts of violence upon the citizens of America, all caused by a government of and for a monoparty system led by a tyrannical dictator. And whereas the United States citizens of New California do invoke their constitutional right to redress the grievances, as well as their right to self-defense and defense of our communities. And whereas the rogue, tyrannical, and secessionist government of California, existing in a state of rebellion and insurrection, as referred to in the U.S. Constitution, has become a state sponsor of terror in its support of communist revolutionaries. Whereas, facilitated by the state government of California, tyrannical revolutionaries operate with impunity and even with protection by the organs of the state. Whereas, illegal foreign nationals are encouraged and facilitated to enter the country illegally and have become complicit in murder, vandalism, theft, rape, and outrageous crimes. Whereas public officials sworn in by oath of allegiance to the highest offices in the state of California have purposefully evaded mandatory provisions in United States and California law by disingenuous swearing such oath in a premeditated manner, have defrauded the citizens of this state with intent to displace the normal operation of the legal system guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution, and have thus betrayed their oaths of office with purpose of evasion. And whereas the tyrannical California government and the current tyrannical governor are enabling and perpetrating a war zone across the northern border of Mexico and southern border of California, characterized by the trafficking in human flesh and slavery, drugs, weapons, money laundering, and political assassinations. This Mexi-Cali war zone can only exist through the continued criminal negligence by the tyrannical California government and the tyrannical governor's failure to secure our southern border. And whereas the government of California, the current governor, and the monoparty system, along with local officials, are following a coordinated design with the intent to actively engage in acts of insurrection against the U.S. Constitution. Whereas the California Republic now actively works against the principles of liberty through its departments, in its schools, and in arbitrary selective enforcement of laws. And whereas the citizens of California owe their primary allegiance to the United States of America, and daily are put at risk of their safety, happiness, security, and livelihood by the damage that the rogue government of California has perpetrated on the territorial integrity of the California border, which is also the United States border. Whereas this crime also threatens to disaffect us from our common bond to the other states of the Union, thereby creating an existential threat to the territorial integrity of the United States of America. Whereas, by intending and conspiring to secede from the United States of America, the rogue governor and his associates have created an existential threat to the citizenship status of those United States citizens living in California, putting the birthright and posterity of Californians with loyalty to the United States of America at risk and peril. And whereas the California Republic, through its officials, through its officers, is specifically importing foreigners to dilute the influence of citizens and destroy the culture of the once proud Bear Flag Republic, and holds in its direct contempt its citizens who still hold to the ideas of liberty. And whereas now, like the historical tyrannical governments of the world, the California Republic seeks to remove the right of its citizens to defend these principles both in speech and action. Whereas the California Republic now is openly hostile to the idea of government of, by, and for the people in its repeated attempts to disenfranchise citizens and destroy both the state and federal republic through foreign influence. And whereas the actions of the California Republic contradict the tenets of both the original formation of the Bear Flag Republic and its eventual joining of the Federal Republic under many of the same auspices. And whereas the federal government has reneged on its obligation under Article 4, Section 4 of the United States to guarantee in every state in this union a Republican form of government. Whereas Article 4, Section 4 of the United States Constitution guarantees each member state that the federal government shall protect each of them against invasion to protect the federal union, and therefore the federal government has further reneged on this obligation. And whereas the citizens of California Republic are now forced to live under occupation by a government not of our choosing, in violation of the ideals of both the Bear Flag Republic and the Whig Republic of the Federal Union, constituting what is nothing less than treason, insurrection, and a state of undeclared war against the citizens of California in the United States. Whereas the citizens of California, in the tradition of the founders of the United States, seek to rejoin the United States and live under the tenets of liberty our fathers and grandfathers fought, bled, and died for. And these citizens who support the traditional liberties that are our birthright as Californians and Americans do seek a state of our own to be known as New California State. And whereas we, as the citizens of New California State, pray the President of these United States of America exercises authority under the Insurrection Act of 1807 to end the tyranny being foisted upon United States citizens living in California. Now, therefore, be it resolved, we, as the citizens of New California State, having observed the takeover and corruption of our once proud republic, give a clarion warning to the other states of the Union that the old California Republic has been the experimental laboratory for what the enemies of liberty seek to export to other states for the destruction of the Republican forms of government they hate. Insurrection. The government of California, the current governor, and the monoparty system, along with local officials, are following a coordinated design with the intent to actively engage in acts of insurrection against the U.S. Constitution. The Insurrection Act of 1807 is the United States federal law that governs the ability of the President of the United States to deploy military troops within the United States to put down lawlessness, insurrection, and rebellion, acts of secession. Therefore, the California government, in conjunction with the socialist state executive, instituted wherever the current socialist governor has usurped power, has created a reign of terror on the United States citizens living in California with the intent to secede from the United States of America and thus destroy the very union of states which secures our liberty and freedom. Abdication of authority. Betrayal by the sitting communist governor of California, the monoparty legislature, and the local elected officials is evidence of abdication of the responsibilities of authority and sovereignty over the state and citizens of the United States living in California. Prayer. The citizens of New California State pray for the President to exercise his authority under the Insurrection Act of 1807 to end the tyranny being foisted upon the United States citizens living in California State. This concludes these proceedings. NewCaliforniaState.com is the website. The phone number is 877-828-2753.